Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can implement Dagger Hilt using Kotlin. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Retrofit, MVVM, and make the GitHub API call and display the result on the RecyclerView. In this video, I'm going to use Glide library as well, just to show you how you can cache images and display it on the RecyclerView. So let's begin by adding the dependencies in our uh, project. So first dependency I am adding Hilt, Dagger Hilt. Second dependency I am adding for the retrofit. And when we use the retrofit, so we need a converter as well. So the same. As I mentioned, I'm going to use the glide as well. And this dependency we need for the Hilt Android compiler. And this lifecycle extension is for the Viewmodel. I'm going to add one more dependency that is for our project level dependency. So that is going to be the Hilt Android Gradle plugin. So this plugin will be adding inside our project level Gradle file. So let's click apply and OK, and let's go to our Gradle file and see this last dependency, this plugin, Gradle plugin. We need to cut it and open our project level Gradle file and paste it there and change this implementation to class path. That's it for this class. And now let's go back to our Gradle file, and this implementation for the Hilt Android compiler, we need to make it to the capped. And when we use capped, then we need to apply that capped plugin inside our plugin block. So we need to use Kotlin capped, and with the Dagger Hilt we need to add another plugin, that is dagger.hilt.android.plugin. And I am going to add another plugin that is for Kotlin Android extension that help me to import the layout ID or the view IDs. And now sync, and then let's let our project to be sync now. Our project is sync now. Let's open our main activity. And let's inside our main activity, I am simply adding a recycler view. So on this recycler view, we'll make the API call to the GitHub API and then get the results and then displayed on this recycler view. And at this point of time, let's implement Hilt first. So let me create a separate package for Dagger injection. And now I'm creating a separate object class and giving a name as the app module. This is the object class, and it need to be annotated as the module. And then another annotation is install in, and inside it we need to pass singleton component dot class. And this class will basically return us the object of retrofit. So for retrofit we need a URL, so I am defining a base URL. This is the URL we'll be hitting to make the API call. So this is the GitHub URL, and now I'm creating a function that is going to get retrofit instance, and this is going to return the retrofit object. Now we'll simply create our retrofit builder. We'll pass the base URL and we'll add a converter factory, that is the JSON converter factory. And as we have defined this inside the app module, so we need to annotate this as the singleton and provides. That's it. Now, since we have the retro object, so we need an interface as well. So let's create a network package, and then inside this we'll create a retro interface. We'll give any name. I'm giving retro service instance. Inside this we'll be defining, this is the get API call, so I'll use as get, and then we need a URL parameter as the repositories, and we'll give a any name, any function name. Let's call it get API, get data from API, and the query parameter, we need to pass a query parameter, that is the queue and some value now, any string, and then it is going to return us the call and some object. So let's create a data class which is going to hold our data. The data class will give any name. I'm giving as the recycler list, and inside this it is going to keep a list of some data type. Let's define data type of another data model that is going to keep the name, description, and another that is going to be the string type. And that is going to hold the owner. Owner is the another data class I need to create. And I'll define another data class owner, and it is going to just hold one variable outer URL, that is another string type. So we'll use this class and pass it inside our interface. So our retro service interface is also ready. Now we'll get its instance from the app module. So we'll define another function retrofit.create, and we'll pass our interface name. And similarly we'll define it as the singleton and provides. Now next step is we need to create an application class. So we'll give any name. I'm giving my Hilt app. So this is the class, and we need to annotate this class as the Hilt Android app, and we need to extend it with the application. That's it. In previously in Dagger example we had to write a lot of code at this point of time, but in Hilt we don't need to write, we remove a lot of boilerplate code here. Now we need a view model. So I'm creating another view model. As I mentioned, we are going to use the view model, and since we are using view model, so we need to annotate it with the Hilt view model. And now we'll simply extend it with the view model. Inside our init block we'll be initializing our live data. and creating a function which is going to return live data. That is just to set up the observer on this data. And another function which is going to just make the API call. But before that we need a repository. So let's create another Kotlin class and give it a name as the repository, retro repository. And now we need to inject as the constructor. And this constructor is going to hold the instance of our retro service interface. And inside it we'll be creating another function. This is going to actually make the API call. So this is going to get a query which we need to pass it to our interface, and the live data just to send the call back to our main activity. And now we need to override these two functions. And we'll call live data dot post value. And now we'll use this retro repository inside our view model. So we need to inject that inside the constructor. So inject constructor, and we'll import this inject, and that will be the retro repository instance. And now we'll simply call repository dot make API call and pass some value, that is just some keyword like ny, and we'll pass our live data. We'll call this function from our main activity. So now let's go back to our main activity and initialize our recycler view. So we'll be creating a separate function for initialize our recycler view. So with recycler view we need to add a linear layout manager. And then we need a adapter for our recycler view. So at this point of time we don't have adapter, so let's create a adapter as well. So I'm giving a recycler view adapter. You can give any name to your adapter class. And now we'll implement it by extending it with the recycler view adapter dot adapter, and we'll define its type for our view holder. override all these three functions, and we need to define this class my view holder now. Now we'll define a bind function inside it. It should be a parenthesis, and now we'll have a data, so that is going to be the list data of type list recycler data. And we'll be creating another function that is going to set the data to this list data variable from the outside. Now we need to inflate our layout here. And at this point of time we need a layout file, so let's create a layout for how our recycler data will look like. So I'm giving a name recycler row, and I'm simply defining a few parameters inside it, like an image view and text view. So on left hand side there will be an image, on right hand side there will be a two text view. So let's go back to our adapter class and pass our XML file name. And now it is going to return us my view holder, and we'll pass this view. And this on bind view holder will be calling this bind function, and we'll be passing the data. And that data we can get from the list data based on the position will be called. And now I'll extract all the layouts, all the views which we define inside the XML file. So that is one image view and the two text views, text view name and text view description. And now I'll simply set the data to these text view. And now image view need to have the images, so I'll use the glide here. we'll pass the URL, so that is inside the data dot owner dot avatar URL dot into, and we'll pass our image view. Now our adapter is ready, so now let's use this inside our activity or with our recycler view. So first we need to create an instance of it, and now we'll initialize this instance. It's easy, and we'll set it to our RecyclerView adapter, and we'll call this function from the onCreate of our activity. Now another function we need to define for our Viewmodel. So it's time to call our Viewmodel and set the observers. So if there is no data or null, then we'll display a error toast to the user. And if there is data, then we'll simply set our data or the list to the adapter, and then we'll call notify dataset change, and we'll call our Viewmodel init Viewmodel function from the onCreate, and at last we need to call load list of data function from our main activity. Now almost we are ready, but last step is we need to open our manifest file and add the internet permission, and we need to initialize our application class. So we define my Hilt app, so we need to define this here inside our application block. This one I was referring here, so we need to define it here. Now let's review it. Our app module class, we have two functions. One is returning retro instance, one is returning retro service and interface, and this interface is having few functions, and this is the data model class, and this is our main activity where we are initializing our recycler view and view model. And let's run our project and see. So it simply crashed. Let's see what we missed now. Error logs. There's something here in main activity, something is missing while initializing our view model. Okay, so we missed to annotate our main activity, so we need to define it as the Android entry point. Now let's run our application and see. There you go. So we can see the results here. So we made the API call, getting the results, displaying it on the recycler view. With the using of Glide library, we can see the images as well. So guys, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you.